Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Entrepreneurs Lounge with me, your host, Ingrid Nantege. As usual, we're shooting at King Paul Suites and Residence on Raptor Road in Westlands. Now, this show is the show you're all waiting for because it gives you advice on how to be a successful entrepreneur through stories of other entrepreneurs who've made it in different spaces. My very first guest today is none other than Lynn Shibanda, who does more than one thing. Her first business is She Matters, Her Story, or the other way around, Her Story, She Matters Foundation, where she is the founder and director. She's also the CEO of Bylash Naturals. You're very welcome to the show, Lynn.
Thank you, Ingrid, for having me.
I'm very excited to hear about your story. Now, when we talk about Her Story, She Matters Foundation, and Bylash Naturals, I know the two somehow feed into each other. So I'll let you take over and tell us the story of both your projects.
All right. So Her Story, She Matters Foundation is basically about empowering young girls, women, and the youth, most especially from marginalized areas and the rural areas. So what we basically do is empower them through different initiatives and projects that we have. So our key focus being health education, where we usually have talks about menstrual hygiene management and puberty. We also distribute sanitary pads. We have economic empowerment. We train the young girls, women, and the youth on different skills. We train them on entrepreneurship skills, and later on give them a startup kit to start their own businesses, of which we still do follow-ups with them till they're stable enough to go and do it out on their own. We also do advocacy on gender issues, gender equality, GBV, gender-based violence. We also have community engagement where we're looking for the youth who are actually talented. We have something that we're actually working on right now. We have a few youth who are in studio in Mombasa. They are recording and they're also supposed to be shooting their first video. So yes. And we also have education where we have 10 girls that we're actually sponsoring in high school and colleges.
How then? So now that's the Her Story.
That is Her Story, She Matters.
I want us to break it down, but I want to, first of all, for you to explain to us how Bylash Naturals then comes into this. How do the two fit into each other?
So, Bylash Naturals was actually born from Her Story, She Matters Foundation, because our headquarters being in Mombasa, when we started, we had this training that we did with the women in a place called Kaloleni. We trained them on how to make coconut oil. And once we were done, we were like, where are they going to get the market? And that is where the business was born. So I went back, bought the oil from them, and started my own company of natural skin and hair care products.
So, Lynn, from what I'm getting, yours is a social enterprise. Away from just doing business for a profit, you're also addressing a need within the community. How did this come about? How did you end up in this space? How did you end up doing what you're doing right now?
So when we started Her Story, She Matters Foundation, we could move around in different counties in Kenya. We met with women, young girls who could tell us different stories on, their life, schooling and all that, and what actually stood out was most of these the women are actually going through a lot and they need help. So that is where we started with the training. That was even before we even registered the organization. So we started with training the women and giving them the startup kits. But later on, one thing led to another. The company came in, and yes, that is where we are right now.
I mean, based off of what you're telling me and everything that you're doing, which is all amazing, because that's an area that, time and time again, we keep hearing women need empowerment, they need this, but we don't see too many people going into that space. However, one would argue with everything that you provide, with all the trainings, with all the empowerment, one would say it sounds so capital intensive. How then do you manage?
Okay, for us, what we've been able to do with the foundation is when these women make products, apart from the coconut oil, they actually make things like soap, shower gel and all that. And what we've done is from what they make, there's a percentage that goes back to the organization. So we are able to continue running our projects. We are able to continue running our activities. So for us, it's not just about making profits, but it's more of empowering and helping communities.
So Lynn, what are some of the key challenges you say you've encountered on this journey of entrepreneurship? And we could also be specific about the lessons that now you take forward as you run this business that are very vital.
For the key challenge that I've actually encountered with Bylash Naturals is getting the right manpower. At some point, I had to hire someone to be doing the sales for me and also packaging, because with my nature of work, I have to move around a lot, so I can't deliver some of these products on time. I can't be there to talk with the customers directly, so I had to get someone to do this for me. But unfortunately, after a week, this person started his own business using my products. Wow. Yes, and some of the key lessons that I've actually learned is make sure you do a thorough job when it comes to recruiting someone to work for you. Yes.
You've mentioned something very vital, which is what I was going to ask you about next. You've said with the current state of affairs, you have so much going on that you're not even able to do everything on your own, and as such, you have to enlist help. And here you are running two things. Much as somehow they're both interlinked, we can still look at them as two independent businesses, right? My question there then is, for an entrepreneur out there who's trying to do it and maybe even diversify, what advice would you give when it comes to juggling two different ventures? How do you do it and do it successfully without one losing out?
Now, you definitely have to find a way of how you can balance all this, because for me, apart from working with the Bylash Naturals, her story, She Matters Foundation, I'm also the program coordinator for leadership and governance at my leadership team.
How do you do it all?
So, like I told you before, with the business, it has become much easier for me because of the services that I've received from the border corp. They do the storage, they do the deliveries, they also do marketing for me. So when it comes to all this, you definitely need to find a way of how you can balance it all. Because you won't have enough time for your family. That is definitely bound to happen. Right. And at the same time, you need to sacrifice time, a lot of time. You know, because family needs time, the foundation needs time, the business needs time. They all have to grow at the same time. So you definitely need to look for a way on how you can actually balance all this.
So I need then to ask you about the vision for everything. 6 years from now, where do you envision yourself? Whether it's with her story, whether it's with Bylash Naturals, whether it's with My Leader Kenya, like, what's the vision 6 years from now? Where do you want to be in your enterprises?
In 6 years' time, I'm actually looking, for the business, I'm actually looking at scaling up maybe to other countries. We are looking at producing more of our own natural products, because that has also been a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes you go to a supplier and you find they're out of products. So we are looking at producing most of our own products. We are looking at scaling up to different countries. For the foundation, we want to reach to more women. We want to reach to more young girls. We want to reach to more youth, because they are the ones, when you look at our country, they are the ones who are actually going through so many challenges, from healthcare, unemployment, education, you know. So we are looking at reaching to as many young girls, women and youth as possible.
So Lynn, I really would like to pick your mind about employment versus entrepreneurship. And by this I mean, what would be your advice to someone who's trying to go into entrepreneurship? Would you say it's okay, keep your job and find out how to run it on the side? Or would you say go in full hardy, drop everything you're doing? Because a lot of people would argue entrepreneurship is very time consuming. It needs you to immerse yourself fully. What quick tips would you give someone out there who wants to venture into this?
I think it depends with an individual, because for some, you know, you can say just drop the whole thing and run your business. But what I would say is, if you can juggle both work and business, then go ahead and do it, and when you think you're now stable enough, or it's reached a point where you want to just run your business, then you can resign from your job and do it. But I would say it actually depends on an individual.
Well, that was Lynn Shibanda, who is the director and founder at Her Story, She Matters, also CEO of Bylash Naturals. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a very quick break, but when we come back, I have another exciting entrepreneur. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Entrepreneurs Lounge, the show where we highlight success stories of entrepreneurs making it in different spheres. Now, my next guest is John Wanu, and he's the director at Wezesha Real Estate. You're very welcome to the show, John.
Thank you so much.
Wezesha Real Estate. Yes. Why real estate?
Because we have a passion for empowering people to own their own houses, a place they can call their home. Land, the population is increasing. The factors of production, like land, is not increasing. And this is why we are here to ensure that the people are able to acquire land and a house at very affordable cost. So we are here to empower people.
So John, I'm a client. I pick up my phone, I call Wezesha Real Estate. I say, may I please talk to John Wanu? You come onto the phone and I tell you, listen, John, I'm interested in buying property. I'm interested in buying land. What value will you offer me with? Aside from that, what will I get from you as Wezesha Real Estate?
Once you come or you make a call to us, we assure you of getting value in this way. One, all our products are very genuine. They are there are things you can see, there are things you can touch. Then all our products, there is what we call, we give them value added product. There is road inside. If it is a land project, there is water, there is electricity. And this is some of the things that other companies are not willing to offer. So we go an extra mile to make sure that you are satisfied. Once we give you a property, it is in an area whereby you can settle anytime when you feel like you are ready to settle.
So tell me a little bit about that story of Wezesha Real Estate. How did it come into existence? How long have you been around? And what has the journey been like from inception to where you are today?
My passion was in real estate ever since I was I got out of school.
So this is all you've done?
Yes, this is what I've done. This is what I do on daily basis. The Wezesha has been there now for 3 years in operation. We have issued more than 1,500 title deeds so far. We have more than 3,700 clients that they look forward to us to provide real estate solutions to. So this is what I do on daily basis. This is what makes us wake up every day, because our passion is what drives your vision. So Wezesha, being 3 years old, we can only offer better solutions to Kenyans as time goes by.
I mean, you mentioned you've been doing this for 3 years. You have thousands of people under your wing. How did you build such an impressive portfolio? And also in an industry where we're seeing so many players, how do you manage to stand out?
We would not have done this without a team. We have a very strong team behind us, and this is the team that makes things happen. We are also able to reach to our clients through mainstream medias and also referrals from those people that are satisfied. Therefore, we also work with the groups of young people, women. So if a certain group is able or gets satisfied with us, then they can be able to refer other people to us. It is a multiplication. There is a multiplier effect. Yes.
John, you make it sound so easy. You make it seem like you have it all figured out. I mean, you mentioned this is all I've done from when I left uni. I've been in this 3 years. However, what are some of the challenges, if any? I mean, if it's been all smooth, you're also allowed to tell me how you've done it. But what are some of the bottlenecks and challenges you've encountered along the journey? Have you addressed those? And what key lessons have you learned from this journey?
Let me say the journey has not been easy. Despite the success that we can be able to show, the journey has not been easy, especially when you cannot be able to meet the client expectation. You know, some of them, they buy even without seeing the product, but when they come and see, they had an imagination of how the product looks like. But once they come, sometimes we may not be able to meet a client expectation, and that is what brings me down sometimes. Therefore, rising again and trying to give the client what they needed is what gives us satisfaction again. Let me say something that the reason as to why we have been able to rise again every time we feel very low is because we are able to accept our mistakes so many times, because we are growing, and the mistakes we do today, we ensure that we have not repeated them again.
John, when you look at the statistics and also when you look at the figures, first of all, you even hear things being thrown around like, oh, in Kenya, the real estate bubble is bursting. In Kenya, the real estate sector is ailing. When you look at there's not too much uptake of late, what would you be your focus of the industry? And maybe in line with that, what's your goal for your business?
Let me first of all say that real estate is divided in three segments. There is the low income earner, the middle class, and the high end. There is so many people say that there is a bubble in real estate, but that bubble is not in the village. It is not in the middle income people earner. They still need houses and decent houses. So there is a huge market for our product. But when you come to areas like Nairobi, everybody is coming to Nairobi. The high-end people, the malls are being done here. So people say that there is a saturation, there is a bubble, but that is not true. We still have a huge market when it comes to low-income earners and the middle-income earners. And this is what, as Wezesha, we focus on. We are able to offer a product even to Mama Boga, who sells cabbages, even to Boda Boda rider, who is there, wakes up every day. We have something for them. And this is our focus, this is our market, and this is where we want to stay for some time. Because the market is not up there. The market is very huge down here. And that is our focus. That is where the people we want to empower. So many people, they say that they were not given inheritance by their parents, land or a house. But now, by the coming of Wezesha, we have a product whereby even a Boda Boda rider, they can be able to pay 1,500 every week for 52 weeks, and they are able to get a plot of 50 by 100 in areas and towns of their choice, such as Malindi, Embu, and Nanyuki. Once they start saving with us for some time, we can give them a document that we call the document of ownership, that is the title deed, and we have the people we can show that for the 3 years we have been able to empower more than 800 people in business. Those people who deal with small businesses like Mama Boga and Boda Bodas, the people from Dukas, the shops, and those areas. That is our market, and that is our concentration.
Right. So, John, if you knew then what you know now, what would you do differently on this journey of entrepreneurship to make sure that you get everything right from the start?
Let me say, I would, if I knew about customer service, let me mention about that for now. I would, when we were beginning, if I knew about good customer service, that is what I would have improved on. Because at the end of the day, it's about experience. You have to give your client the experience they will never forget. So that is what I would improve, or I would have improved on. And if I knew that 3 years ago, let me say I would be very far.
It would be a game changer.
Yes.
So finally, tips for budding entrepreneurs who are trying to enter this space that you're in. What quick advice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, would you say they must know? It's a must. They must go into this knowing in order for them to thrive.
They need to do, let me say they need to do enough research. Let them know what the area they are venturing into, so that they don't make mistakes like what we did. every success story there is a bad side of the story, and if you are able to make those mistakes, then they don't have to make them now. Let them do enough research. If it is an area they want to venture into, let them do enough research. Let them know what market is really interested in. You might have a good project in Nairobi, but so many people, they are not interested in products in Nairobi. So market research is very key. Yeah. Once you venture into that, I can assure you, you will be successful in this area.
Thank you very much.
Asante.
Well, that was John Wanu, director at Wezesha Real Estate. But don't go anywhere. We're just about to take a quick break. But when we return, we have so much more for you right here on Entrepreneurs Lounge. I'm Ingrid Nantege. Welcome back to the Entrepreneurs Lounge, and you're just in time for our quick fire round. Joan, Lynn, we all know about the quick fire round. It's where we separate the brains from the brains. So basically, we need your brain in this segment. So I'll just give you a quick brief of what this round is about.
Okay.
Basically, I'll ask 5 very random questions. The trick is to get the answers correct, obviously. So when I ask a question, if you know the answer, it helps to listen to the question to the end, because people have in the past thought they know until I actually answer the question. So I'll ask the question. If you feel like you know the answer, don't wait. Just blurt out the answer. If you have the right answer, you'll earn a point. At the end of the round, the person with the highest correct answers wins our coveted title of Quick Fire King or Queen, and then your crown or tiara, encrusted with diamonds, will be handed to you on your way out. Are you motivated?
Certainly, yeah.
Quick fire round starts now. Question number 1. Which Jamaican runner is an 11-time world champion and holds the record in the 100 and 200 meter? You said Bolton, Michael Bolton. Actually, the truth is, she did say Bolton, and then you both said Bolt at the same time.
I said that is not his name.
That is not his name. But she caught herself in time, and then the second time you said it together. So I'll give you both half a point. She's about to throw punches for this one, John. I'm helping you. So half a point. Question number 2. How many soccer players should each team have at the start of each match? How many? How many?
11.
Yes, 11. You are so close too. You are really, really close. So 1.5 a half. You can earn this one. The next one is really easy. Question number 3. On computers, right? You know, when you're on your desktop, what is the shortcut for copy on most computers? You know how, like, you know, real quick, you're trying to, instead of highlighting, copy, paste, what's the shortcut? Yes! I knew that was yours. So 1.5. You're both tied in 1.5. Question number 4. I need someone to break this tie now.
Okay.
Google Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and Explorer are all different types of what? Google Chrome.
Operating system.
No. Operating systems is like Windows, iOS. No, close.
Google search engines.
Yes! Oh. There are search engines. She's broken the tie. 2.5, 1.5. You have a chance to actually tie this up at the end. And this is the final question. Final question. What is meteorology the study of? Quickly, guys! Meteorology. Huh?
And weather.
Yes, it is the weather. Is that, guys, it's a tie. How are we going to share this crown? It is a tie. It was 2.5, right? Hasn't it ended in a tie? Yeah. Because she got the last one right. My producer is saying no. Who has won? John has won. My producer knows John. How has John won? Well, maybe I'm not doing the math bad. So I feel like just making it a tie. You guys saw one? Guys, it's a tie. I don't care what my producer says. My producer brought John here. Me, I'm impartial. So, John, I hope I'm not taking away from you. I'll go replay the tapes. If it's you, I'll send you the crown in the mail. Does that make sense? So, our quick fire round winners are John and Lynn. See, everyone goes home. Well, that's the show we had for you today on Entrepreneurs Lounge. And don't forget, we're shooting at the King Post Suites and Residence on Raptor Road in Westlands. Don't go anywhere because we have so much more amazing programming coming your way right here on Metropole TV.